Hello, everyone. Welcome to another interview with the J. Shetty Certification School graduate. And today I have a very special guest, a very special graduate of ours. And this is our dear Mr. Happy, Ricky. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here right now. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. And I can see that we have so many people who were waiting.
Oh, I think we froze.
And this is one of the most awaited interviews and definitely one of the most anticipated interviews. So I would like to properly introduce you. Ricky is our graduate, as I said, and he was our fourth graduate. Ricky is a professional fitness trainer, awareness coach, drummer, and an author of the best-selling book, which is called Reprogram Your Happiness. But most importantly, Ricky is officially a certified J. Shetty Life and Success Coach. So, Ricky, after the official introduction, welcome once again. And I'm happy to tell you that we have listeners, attendees from all over the world, but then we also have Viraj who
Hey,
came
that's
in.
cousin. What's up, cousin V?
Cousin Ricky and cousin Viraj. We have people today from Kurdistan and LA and Germany and Newcastle and India and
Nice.
all over the world. And Kusum, our last guest on the
That's my sister
interviews,
right
came
there.
to you. Um, Ricky, shall we dive into your story by you telling our audience first when and why did you decide to become a coach?
Oh my God. You got to keep me short because I'll just go forever in a day. It's such a God. It's a journey that it immediately makes me get emotional as soon as I think about it. Because and that's why I love Consume the other day. We was watching her interview. I'm not gonna lie, I was literally in tears, don't cry, Ricky. Because it's like the similar story, different situation. It's like I was brought up in a small town, Port Arthur, Texas, where there's not a lot of motivation there, and people they tell you. I grew up around a bunch of people who tell me I could do something, but never showed me how to do anything. So I had this question of life since I was a kid, and I used to get in trouble every single day. And I started questioning everybody, like why this, why that, and then nobody had the right answer for me. And because nobody had the right answer for me, I was always either putting time out or I got whipped, or just like I got in trouble all the time because I've always had this curious mindset of why this, why that. Years later, I can't go through the full story, but I found myself in a place where I was depressed, overweight, unhappy, and I just realized that I didn't know who I was as a person, and I knew something had to give me the answer I wanted and needed. And so it was just like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And again, I grew up in a small town. Nobody talked about psychology. Nobody talked about depression. Nobody talked about how to deal with self. It was always go to church, pray, and shout hallelujah. It was it all the time. So it was pray and shout hallelujah your way out of everything. But that didn't do it for me. It was something else. It's like, I can't just fake this whole being happy thing. I can't fake going through life. And so then I actually, when I started to go through my depression, I gained a whole lot of weight. I watched a video on YouTube, literally that changed my life. The guy was literally talking about self awareness. If you want to be successful, bad as you want to breathe. And I was like, what is this self awareness? What is this all about? Again, nobody ever talked about it. And then I got introduced to psychology. So I went back to church and started talking about psychology, mindset, motivation. They were just like, no, it's not in the Bible. It's like, wait, I get the Bible, but then I'm hearing this, but then it's not meshing up. And then moving forward, I just decided that, you know what, I'm going to go this route. I'm going to figure out myself by exploring the mindset, exploring self, exploring this, exploring that. And as you know, fairy godmother, you are the fairy godmother. I have 3 kids. I had kids at an early age, and I had kids in high school and throughout my entire teens and 20s. My beautiful kids there. Now they're 21, 17, and 19. They just made 19. And so I took the path of being a father because my dad wasn't around. So that was a personal issue that I had going on. And so I put my college aside. Turned my football scholarship down. I just pursued being a parent, and I got lost. I got lost. I got lost in my pursuit of understanding self and everything else. But then I decided that, you know what, I have to be happy for myself. I have to figure out what's going on for myself. And since I couldn't finish college, I got introduced to life coaching and counseling and everything else. And it was like, well, I can't go to college and get my degree in psychology, but I can kind of pursue this route as well. It still has a lot to do with the mindset. So uh, after I started getting more into life coaching, that made me understand that, you know what, I can change my mind and I can change my body, but it starts with my mind first. Okay. So I started reprogramming my head. This is how I came up with the concept. Reprogramming my mind, which reprogrammed my body, which led me to where I am right now. Short version. That's a short version. I can't give you the whole long story. We'd be all day talking about it.
What a fantastic story. I know your story, but I also think that it's so powerful that our audience gets to learn your story today, because you truly have a unique path. And looking at you, it's so difficult to believe that you have such grown-up children, because you yourself, you look so young, and when someone interacts with you, you definitely feel very, very high energy vibes. And it shows the amount of personal and professional development that you have done.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking about the coaching career and how that has been for you, can you tell us why did you decide to join the J Shetty certification school and not the other way to become certified?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you. I try to keep myself up. I literally do. I've taken a point to take pride in my temple, in my body, in my mind, and that was part of my whole transformation as well. It's like, if I'm gonna be here on this earth, I'm gonna at least appreciate myself, feel good. I want to look in the mirror, at least say I look good, or put certain clothes on and be happy and comfortable with that. So I appreciate that. So really, God, after graduating, and going through Jake Shady's class, and the most amazing thing happened. Again, it's such a pivotal moment in my life, because right when COVID happened, I was literally, I kid you not, I took about a week prior to COVID happening, and I said, I need to change my life. I'm tired of training at the gym. I was already kind of doing life coaching, but I wasn't certified, or I took a bunch of courses and it didn't really stick to me. I think I shared it with you. It was like, I've taken courses and I've gotten certified with other smaller places, but I never felt like I accomplished anything. And that was the thing. It was like, they were telling me do this, and I'm really good at doing multiple choice. So if you give me a bunch of questions, I could pick the most logical answer, and so that was one of the things that going through Jay Shady's course was like, I went through all of those other classes online, and I didn't feel a personal relationship with nobody there. It was just me answering questions, making the most logical thing, and for me, coming from a place of insecurity, not knowing who I was, it's like, I don't need nobody else just say, yeah, you good, go do it. It's like, no, I need direction, I need guidance. So I was at a place where I was like, I'm about to quit the gym. I don't want to work here no more. If I'm gonna do this, I have to make a plan, and something had to happen. So COVID happened. They shut the gym down. I'm at home, and then the ad pops up. I've been following Jay for a while, so I already kind of knew about him. And I was at home and I saw the ad and I was like, really, really, bro? That's how I talk to God. I'm like, really? That's how you gonna do it? So he set it up to where the ad was in my face. I talked to the wife about it. And the first conversation that I had with, I think it was Chris I spoke to, and we talked about a good hour. And it was just like, bro, this is like perfect for you. Matter of fact, he skipped all of the general questions and went straight into, he's like, Rickey, you just perfect for this. And I'm like, you know what? I feel it. I really feel like this is it. That's the only thing I wanted in my life was somebody to, it sounds weird, a grown man saying somebody to hold my hand, but that's what it was. It was like, I just need somebody to hold my hand and guide me in the right direction. And that's what I got from J City School, and going through the entire course from you to V, to all the coaches and supervisors. They just held my hand through the whole way and never made me feel like I was by myself. And so that's why I chose this school here.
Thank you, Ricky. I'm so grateful to hear that, this has been the experience for you. And I'm so glad, that you have made that decision, and you joined us, because you definitely are the perfect person, to become a Jay Shetty certified life coach. And we're definitely proud of your results. But tell us a little bit more about that. After the graduation as a coach, who do you work with? What kind of results do you bring to your clients? And tell us how that practice has been for you after graduation.
Oh man, it's been just imagine sitting underneath a waterfall and everything just pouring on you. That's what it feels like. So it's like as soon as I was done and you put it out, y'all put it out there, I'll put it out there. It was just like questions and answers. My emails are blowing up and my DMs are blowing up, and it's good, crazy in a good way, crazy. But people that know me, like I said, I made a unique transition from people knew me as a drummer, then they knew me as a motivational speaker, then they knew me as a personal trainer, and then now people know me as a life coach. Okay, so I had to put everything that I'm good at, and this is something I teach people I coach now. It's like, look, let's not focus on everybody else's expectations. Like, what are you good at doing? Like, let's find a few things that you're good at doing and come up with a plan for that. So I focus on people who are either in a depressed state of mind, are stuck. They're stuck, they're depressed, and they can't figure out what to do with their life. And it just so happened that they're out of shape and and unhealthy. And so I like to focus on people who were like me. You
Yeah.
were depressed at one point in time, you were stuck in a place in life, and you were out of shape, overweight, and unhealthy. And I that was me. And I was all of those people. And then motivation. So it all kind of goes along together. So you're stuck, you're unhealthy, and you need motivation. Those are the people that I focus on, and they just come pouring. Because right now, I mean, you're at a unique time in your life where it's like, yeah, I feel stuck, I'm unhealthy, and I need motivation. So it's like, I got you, whatever you need. That's what I do. So I do it all day, every day, and that's the kind of people that have been coming. And I'm honored. First of all, I'm so honored and grateful uh, that I have you guys, and you still are working with me, which is amazing. That's another amazing thing. Like even after I'm done with school, y'all still talk to me, y'all still email me, and that makes me feel like we really are a family. And I'm not going to cry. So ask the next question.
This is not over, right? After you graduate, this is not over. It's a beginning of a new chapter. And one of the things that always amazed me about you, it's your critical reflection and very objective view, on yourself and where you currently are. And I have here a question from Caitlin. It's a very straightforward question, but I know that you are the person who doesn't mind straightforward questions.
Mm-hmm.
So Caitlin is asking, did you have money to start Rickey, or did you go all in and worry about money after?
Oh man, Caitlin, let me tell you something. Okay. Caitlin Humble. I actually like that name. So the first thing I did, I'm actually use your name to make this work. So I had to humble myself, okay, and realize where I was. So when I was humble, I'm able to be a whole lot more calm. And when I'm calm, I'm able to reflect on where I am in life and see, okay, this is what I need, this is what I want. So I'm able to humble myself and harness my energy. Okay, so for me, if you understand my story, you understand how money is never an issue for me. Like money is not a thing. Not saying I got a lot of it. I mean, one day I will. But but the thing of it, when I say money is not an issue, looking at it from both spectrums, because I've had absolutely nothing, and I still made it. Okay, and I had a little bit of something, and I still made it. So my perception on money was never like it never made me make a decision. It was like, what do I want? I don't care, but because I truly believe there's a will and there's a way. And honestly, the school is a perfect example of that because I literally, and I don't know if you mind me sharing this, I was like, yo, I only got a couple $100, and can we make this work? you know, so to answer your question, I know it sounds like a two-sided question answer, and it is, Caitlin, honestly, because it all about your perception of yourself and it's your perception of life. Because if you feel like, you know what, I need to pace myself and do it, do that. Okay. But if you feel like, I don't care, I'm screwed, I'm going all in, then go all in. And that's kind of been my mindset in every situation that I'm in. I have a family, I have kids. Sometimes it's not easy for me to go all in, because I have other responsibilities. And there's those moments where it's like, this is all about Rickey. I don't care who likes it or doesn't like it. I'm going to do it. So you have to know yourself enough, be humble enough to say, okay, this is what I actually can do. I can actually pace myself and do a little bit at a time, or my situation allows me to go all in. And if it allows you to go all in, then by means, go all in. So don't hold back. Be humble, but don't hold back, Caitlin.
Amazing answer, Ricky, as always. And I also want to add that, I think one of the things that you discover as a coach in training is this resourcefulness, because everything you learn about how to coach people is about how to help them understand they are whole, they are resourceful, and they can deal with any challenges that life throws at them. Of course, it reflects on your own resourcefulness. Of course, you expand that resourcefulness. And when you said, after I graduated, it was like a shower, like a waterfall, on me. It also happens because you discovered that resourcefulness, Ricky, because I want to go back for a minute to your exam, right? When you came to the exam, and I remember your presentation, right? And the powerful realization that you had, even during the presentation and after. That's a small lock that you have removed that time, right? And maybe the waterfall also happened because of that.
I believe so. I believe so. Putting yourself out there is like the best way to receive anything you want from God, from the universe. Is like you have to be willing to say, "Look, I'm going to put myself out there and expose myself to be vulnerable to whatever I want." But if you can't receive anything with a closed fist. Open your hands up to receive everything you want. So the thing that I wanted was, we talked about this earlier, just being organized, being available, being present in front of other people. And I was like, okay, here you go. Now I'm open.
There you go. I'm so happy, Ricky. And another question from one of our regular attendees, Yuvarajan. Yuvarajan is asking, what is happiness to you?
I love that question because, again, it goes back to self. I'm always going to start off with self. I don't want to, I do not like giving people like textbook answers or just a general, like, this sounds good. Yeah, this is happiness. Cool. No, it's not that. It's your own perception of a happiness. So for me, it's literally whatever I make it to be. I literally find multiple ways not to make myself happy in any situation. It could be the worst situation, but it's like, how do I, what am I learning in this situation? And that's what makes me happy. The roots of my happiness is learning. That's literally it. It's the opportunity to learn something. It's the ability to learn something. I'm just like, yo, that makes me happy. The fact that I'm in this messed up situation, but I can still sit back and think like, okay, what am I supposed to be learning in this moment? What am I supposed to be absorbing? And that's like, oh, it's exciting. It's like a roller coaster ride. It really is. It's a roller coaster ride of like, yo, I know I'm on this ride of life, and I know there's a big, huge drop coming up. Okay. And after the drop, I don't know where I'm going. So it's exciting and exhilarating. And I look at every situation that exact same way. So, it's weird because think about a roller coaster. You get on it, it's about to be crazy. But then we have this fear. So I've learned to turn my fear and anxiety into happiness. It's like, no, it actually makes me happy. So it's just my ability to answer your question more directly. It's my ability to look at a situation and learn from it. It's like, okay, learning makes me happy. Absorbing things makes me happy. So that's the key to my happiness.
I thought the powerful moment was also when you said, my ability to turn my fear and my anxiety into happiness. And I think that was quite powerful. And I mean, if you coach people and you help them achieve that, I think that is a huge contribution, to the humanity, Ricky.
Absolutely.
Now, Paulette is asking, what was your biggest turning point to decide to do coaching?
I love that question so much. Again, it's a personal thing. And again, I am an emotional person. I'm gonna relax, so I don't care. I used to, where I'm from, men can't cry. We can't be emotional because we're weak. But once you become in tune with yourself, self-aware, like the emotions just kind of come because it's not a sad thing. It's more of a relieving feeling. So for me, I needed to find ways to deal with my insecurities. Okay. Part of my insecurities were, again, I think I shared this with you. Part of my insecurity was that I've always started something and I never finished. So I started my degrees in psychology and I never finished. I've started my counseling degrees. I never finished. I've started my engineering degrees and I never finished. So in my situations, unfortunately, at the time, it didn't permit for me to finish my college degrees. Well, I had to go to work. I didn't have the money, so on and so forth. My kids, they still take my money nowadays. So, like, my situation didn't permit 100% for me to finish college, right? But I realized that that was holding me back. It was holding me back so much because I was like, yo, I don't feel smart. I don't feel competent. I can't help anybody. I can't do anything because I don't have a degree. And so it was like, okay, Rickey, what are you doing to yourself? I have your self talk with myself all the time. Like, bruh, think about what's happening right now. People come to you all the time for help. People ask you for advice all the time. You have reputable people who say that, hey, you give me really good, solid advice. You help me and you guide me in the right direction. So at that point in my life, like I said, it was either I'm going to, every time I didn't finish my college degrees, true story, I always went back to a regular job. Okay. So I was in school and I quit my degree. I quit college for whatever reason was going on in my life. And I went back to like a regular 9 to 5. And every time I went back, I felt more and more depressed. It was like, oh my God, what am I doing back here at the store working again? And I always did good at stores. I went from like salesman to managers. I've always, done great at my jobs, but I wasn't truly happy. So when I got to a point is where like, what's going to truly make me happy, and what really makes me happy is helping other people. Okay, so the biggest turning point for me was when the last job I was at, my daughter was she had her, I think it was her 6th grade graduation. Okay, and I tried to take off so I can go to, be there for my daughter, and they told me I couldn't take off, and they was like, no, you can't take off, you have to work this shift. And I was like, yep, that's it, I'm done. Like, nobody will ever tell me what to do in my life again. I want to be in control of my autonomy is what I always wanted and desire, is to be able to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. And I realized that I have the ability to do it. So somebody telling me I couldn't go to my daughter's graduation was like, that's it, I'm done. That was a turning point for me.
I'm so happy you've chosen the coaching career, Rickey, because I'm thinking now, if you haven't, how much the world would lose. Because, I feel you are going to inspire, motivate, and change so many lives. So I am grateful that you've made that choice, whatever day that was in your life. And following on that, I like the question from Samuel from our audience. Mr. Rickey, how do you compare yourself now to your past?
Sam, I like that. And I like the Superman man. Bro, God, it's so deep. Now I'm so much more calm and aware. Okay, I'm very calm. I know what I have a real. I'm not gonna say I know what I'm doing. I have a really good idea of what I'm doing. Okay, because in life you really never know 100%. You just kind of go with the flow. At least I'm on the right path, going where I want to go, and whatever detours I got to take, I'll take it. Let's just go back 7 years ago. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing stuff because of obligation, because of expectations, insecurities, personal issues. Everything I was doing had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with all of my outside situations. So now I can sit back and say, okay, now I'm actually doing what Rickey wants to do, what makes sense for Rickey, and I feel good doing it. So now it's just the calmness, the awareness, the no need for, even medication. I used to be on a medication 7 years ago, from high blood pressure, diabetes, hyperthyroid, depression, anxiety. So everything I was doing was because of something external, because personal issues, and everybody's telling me I have to do this. Now it's like, I'm healthy, I'm clean, I'm not taking any medication, I'm fit, I'm in control of my life. So the awareness is where I would say the biggest transition is. Like, I'm so much more aware of myself now.
Awareness. I love that. Very powerful, Rickey. Again, your transformation and the ability to go from who you were to where you are today. It's definitely hard work, and it's so much reflection. It's so much awareness about the issues that you had. It's so many blocks that you had to overcome. So I applaud you for your personal journey as well. And following on that, a question from Colette again. This transformed your life beyond your wildest dreams?
Colin, I love your question. And I would honestly, my immediate thought, I would have to say, it's the beginning of my wildest dreams. Okay. The reason why it's the beginning because I have a bucket list of things that I want to see, uh, things I want to do, things I want to accomplish. And one of the biggest things was I want to lose weight. Okay. I want to do my first bodybuilding competition. I want to write my first book. I want to quit my job. you know, I want to be the first millionaire in my family. You know, all these things is like, I want to do these things. So I will say the transformation was the beginning. That was like kick it into gear. That's the first start. You did it. You lost weight. You changed your mind. You changed your body. And so now it's like, oh god. So it's like you said earlier. It's like you pull the plug, and then everything just comes some rushing down. So it's like that was the first step of opening up my potential to everything else. It was like that was the beginning. That was like, yo, all systems go, you know. So yes, that was the beginning of it. And I'm in the midst of living out my wildest dreams. Every morning I wake up, I still feel like I'm in an amazing dream because it's the opportunity that I live every single day.
Thank you, Ricky. As always, very powerful answer. And here is a question from one of your colleagues, Donna, a student from certification school.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you prefer, affirmations or incantations?
I love that. To me personally, they go kind of hand in hand because there are moments when I'm working out and I'll go through incantations like over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm fit. Yes, I'm the best in the world. Oh, my body's lean. Oh, I'll do this. You know, and I'll go through that. And I have my own list of incantations I'll go through. The affirmations, again, it all depends on how you want to apply it because they're kind of almost synonymous. You can apply it in different ways. The affirmations kind of go along with me first thing in the morning. You know, I wake up in the morning and I literally play an affirmation video every single morning that tells me I'm successful, I'm happy, I'm rich. I'm a very masculine, strong male. I'm well balanced. You know, so I have my own set of affirmations that I go through. It just depends on how I want to apply it. Incantations are like really good when I'm working out because I get all like fired up and like, let's go, you know. But then the affirmations are a lot more intentional, you know.
Yeah.
So I apply both. And once you get to like, you know me, if you ever taken a coaching session with me, I typically don't say things are right or wrong. I don't say that's good or that's bad. I always like, yo, what makes sense? You know, how do you want to apply that particular thing? It's not about this, that's the right way or the wrong way. Same thing like with diets. It's like, well, technically everything works. It's how do you want to apply it? You know? So hope that answers your question, Donna.
I'm sure it does. I want to add to that just one little story because I was listening today to recent Jay's podcast with Vishen, the founder of Mind Valley. I don't pronounce his last name always right, so I'm afraid to make a mistake. So in that podcast, Vishen is explaining one concept from his latest book, and the book is called The Badass Buddha. And he explains how you can reprogram your mind and literally ask your mind questions instead of repeating affirmations, and how that works like affirmations on steroids. So basically, as when you say an affirmation sentence to yourself, all kind of self-doubt and objectives kick in. Because, for example, if you repeat to yourself, I am having a great athletic body, but you know it's not that, you know, your subconscious mind tells you basically, okay, I'll take in, but conscious mind says, no, you don't have an athletic body, right? But he says, rephrase it in a way that you ask yourself questions, and it sounds like, why do I have an athletic body, right? And why am I a millionaire, you know? And so this way you kind of open, you know, and reprogram your mind in a powerful way. So just wanted to say, if you haven't heard that podcast, head you know, iTunes or whatever you are listening. It's Jay's interview with Vishen and the founder of Mind Valley, basically. So
yeah, I watched that too. Honestly, you know, it's funny. Really, the funny thing is, like, I recently, the past 2 years, I started watching more videos and listening to, you know, podcasts and different things like that. But I realized that I was already kind of doing those things without even knowing that stuff was going on. You know, and it's like, oh shoot, that's what I've been doing. Oh, thanks for the confirmation. You know, and that's why I do things now. It's like, yo, does it really make sense to use the affirmation? I have a fit body if you're sitting at home and eating Doritos? Are you not working out? So it's like, are your expectations, you know, matching your affirmations? You know what I mean? Are you taking the actions towards it? So I can say that me personally, in this particular case, I'm like, yo, you know what? I do have a fit body and I can have a fit body. Why? Because I'm eating clean, I'm sticking to my diet, and I'm working out every single day. So the affirmations kind of make sense, you know. And going to go back into the question, like, why do I have a fit body? It's like, oh, because I work out, fool. That's great. You know, not just like, oh yeah, I want to have a fit body, and you go home and eat a salad. It doesn't really match, you know.
I think that's a really good point because you start to find evidence, right, to that question. I think that's a really good point. Now, Ricky, next question is from one of your colleagues from the certification school, and it's about your final exam. How did you prepare for your final exam and presentation?
The number one thing, I had an amazing team. I had awesome coaches, awesome supervisors, and I'm not gonna lie, and they know me. This is why I love you guys, because they know I was able to convey to them that I'm not the best tester. I'm not the best presenter. I don't do like PowerPoint presentations very well. That has never really been my thing. Okay, the ease to all that was, hey, just be yourself, and then find a way to articulate and then make your bullet points, so you can just be yourself. You know, so I went through almost when they told me the final date, I went through like 2 weeks prior to of like stressing out, like, oh, I gotta do PowerPoint, I gotta have this, I gotta have this. Like, Ricky, what are you good at doing? What's your thing? You know, that's why I gave you guys, I did a video. You know, I put a video together and just me talking, kind of my personal life. You know, I displayed myself, my transformation, my drumming, my motivational speaking, and these are things that I are already doing. So, Elena, to answer your question more directly, I really focus on me. You know, I was like, what do I do best? You know, if you're great at doing PowerPoint presentations, you're great at doing, writing things down and presenting it properly, do that. You know, if you're great at just talking and speaking, do that. Okay. You have to figure out what you're good at doing, you know, unless they give you, hey, you have to do this, you have to do that. If that's not the situation, then it's like, be the best you possible and do your own personal presentation. I utilized everything I've learned in the courses and in the classes. I went over all the ABCs. I kept reading everything over and over and over. It was like, how do I apply this stuff? And it's like, Ricky, just talk about what you studied. You know what I mean? And then how do you take the A and apply it to Ricky's, you know, affirmation and my awareness? How do I take the B's and take it to my building my career? And how to take the C's and, you know, apply the concepts? And it was just like, it's very simple steps, and then you just input your own information into it, which makes it a whole lot easier. So preparation was really just preparing myself, me being me, figuring out what system works best.
Great advice, Ricky. And I want to break the myth that the comprehensive exam is actually scary and difficult. It's not. It's literally the panel getting to know you and understanding if you are fit to practice as a coach before your certification. So please do not worry about it. And we are saying that with the support you are getting during the 10 hours of supervised sessions, it is virtually impossible to fail the exam if you addressed all the feedback. So literally focus on the component for supervised coaching practice.
You failed because you wanted to fail. Like, everything's right there.
Okay, well, Stephanie is asking, and this is, I think, a very interesting question. I personally would like to know your answer too. How do you approach criticism? What are your feelings about it?
I love that. For me, and this is where I can kind of go over to the other side of the fence where I was raised. Like, I'm from Port Arthur, very small town, and I got to give you a little bit of backstory so it can make a little more sense to you. So it's like, Stephanie, I was raised in the hood, okay, but I went to a predominantly white church, all right, and then I went to a somewhat of a mixed school, all right. So my upbringing is, I have a little bit of everything, you know, for lack of better term and definition. I could be hood, I can go corporate, but I can also just be your best friend. And, you know, I'm very diverse, for lack of better definitions, right? So the criticism, what I've learned is, because I've taken it from every area of my life, you know, I've learned to take it. I can kid you not, I say thank you. I literally say thank you, because when people are talking bad about you, or they're telling you the thing that you need to work on, all right, it all depends on how tough your skin is. If you're a really sensitive person, and then somebody says something bad about you and you haven't dealt with that particular issue, it's going to make you feel sad. It's going to make you feel depressed. It's going to question everything that you have going on. But if you take that and be like, you know what, here's one tool you can use, and I apply this to this day. Okay, I already know what I got to work on. So if you tell me something about myself, it's like, thanks, I already know I'm working on it. So what else you gonna do to me? Like you can't tell me anything that's gonna hurt me because I already know what the problem is. You know, it's when you're in denial of the criticism is when it hurts the worst. Okay, it hurts the worst when somebody's telling you something that you haven't accepted just yet. You know, but if you learn to accept the criticism, be like, you know what? Thank you for pointing it out. You may be being a jerk right now, but I know you're being yourself, and what you're telling me only continues to like make me work harder. So I appreciate you. That's what honestly my first transformation came from somebody criticizing me. The girl I was dating, she told me that I was fat and disgusting. I was like, ooh, ouch. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, it hurt, but I already had kind of reprogrammed my own brain to be like, Ricky, start working on yourself. Okay, you know you don't like what you see in the mirror, so start working on it. So when she said that, I was like, hurt, but I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna use it as fuel. And I'm gonna say that carefully because a lot of times we like to say we like to hold on to the negative things and say I'm gonna use that to motivate me. But then it means you still hold on to all the negative things. Negative things. You know, you letting the negativity fuel your goals. You letting the negativity fuel your fire. I mean, like don't let the negativity like fuel you because you hold on to it. That means your results can end up being coming from a negative place. Like take that and be like, okay, thank you. I'm gonna put that on the back burner. You know what I mean? And thank you for reminding me. So it's more of a reminder versus like something that hurts you. Remind me, hey Ricky, you don't like your body. Get up and go to the gym. Okay. Somebody said you look fat. Get up and go to the gym. Somebody said you're not smart. Go study. You know, that's it. That I mean, every single time somebody says something, I take that, use it, and then I go work on it.
But also, Ricky, to be at that place where you are today and where you have been at the moment of that comment, you know, the journey that you had to pass personally to be in that growth mindset, to
Right.
look at this criticism this way, it's also a powerful lesson to learn for everyone, because I honestly think what makes you unique, you know, and you so different, you know, to many coaches out there is that your growth mindset, extremely, you know, developed growth mindset. A lot of people think that growth mindset is just a combination of words which became viral, but it's
Mm-hmm.
actually a concept, right? Carol Dweck wrote a whole book about the growth mindset and how somebody can transition from fixed mindset to growth mindset, which what you're explaining right now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the key aspects and definitions in the book that she talks about is that your ability to seek feedback and implement it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, take feedback, and that feedback is subjective, it's relevant, but you choose to neglect it or you choose to take it personally and you don't implement it, you remain in the fixed mindset. And
Exactly.
only when you are in the growth mindset, you start seeking feedback. You start asking people, come on, criticize me, tell me what I'm doing wrong. And one of the examples, which I think is quite powerful, the reason I'm sharing this, because we always have, you know, those questions coming up about the growth mindset. One of the examples she shares in the book is that imagine if you came to a new job and your boss did not give you any criticism or feedback on your job. Imagine yourself after 6 months when your review is approaching of your probation period and you have no idea how are you doing. You know, how would that feel like for you? You are functioning in a blind, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know feedback because you want to know whether you are doing well or you're not doing not well. And if they're not going to point out your mistakes, how would you know whether you are doing well or not? You can't just function on your own perception, right? And so again, to be where you are today, to look at things from this perspective, it's really powerful. And I hope you know the value of this stage where you're currently at, because I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Honestly, that the way you explain it, that's why you're the fairy godmother right there. Then again, I don't know the literature behind it. I never understood how to articulate it. It just kind of happened and evolved. The more I became self aware of myself, it was like, oh my god, thank you for explaining it that way. But the way it has always been in my brain is like, I'm gonna take that and just use it because like that's just what I'm gonna do. I appreciate you because you letting me know where I need to where I need to work harder at. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I always like to look at this one idea is like if nobody's saying anything about you, then you're not doing nothing. And
Yeah.
in this life, is like, what's the point of being here if you're not going to do anything? Like, what's the point of existing if you're not at least trying to be better? If you're not trying to expose yourself to more, then that's when you kind of get in that depressed like mindset place, because it's like you're just sitting and you're questioning everything instead of doing. So I've gotten so used to just doing and understanding as I'm doing, people are going to say things, and so the things that only make me. It's just resistance. It's just like working out. It literally is just like working out. So the more pressure you have, like the more you go back and hit it over and over and over, the bigger your muscles get. That's the whole idea and concept.
Really, really powerful explanation too, Rickey. And again, thank you for sharing that. Now, over to your coaching practice, a very interesting question from your colleague Donna again. Who is your ideal client for your coaching practice?
I love that. My ideal client, and I would have to be honest and say, is somebody who was just like me. Okay. Because I could relate to that person so well. And I feel like the relationship would just blend perfectly because I'm such an open person. I'm okay with just telling the truth. I'm okay with crying. I'm okay with being angry. I'm okay with being real. I'm okay with any spectrum of the personality trait. I'm okay with it. So my ideal client, male or female, in this particular, male or female, if you are in mid 30s, that's kind of where I was at. Mid 30s, stuck, family oriented, maybe you have kids, uh, don't know which way to go with your life or career, unhealthy, maybe out of shape, need a little bit more guidance. And see, that person is in a place where it's like, hey, just point me in the right direction. That was me. It's like, just tell me which way to go and I'll go. But if you don't tell me anything, kind of go back to the whole criticism. If you don't tell me anything, then I'm going to be stuck here forever. And then before you know, I'm going to be 60 and 70 years old and unhappy and then miserable. And then I'll be like, yo, I didn't do nothing with my life out of this whole time here. So it's like, no. So yes, my ideal client, mid 30s, 40s, even some people now, like in their 50s, who just kind of feel stuck in life. They're unhealthy. They want to feel good about themselves, and that is the root to happiness. Because see, the happiness part really just kind of like baits you in, because everybody just want to be happy. It's like, okay, I want you to identify your own happiness and what area of your life are you not happy at. 9 times out of 10 is your mindset and your body. 9 times out of 10, because once you square those two away, everything else is going to be like, okay, I can do this now, I can do that, because I feel good here and I look good here. So, boom, let's go.
Really powerful, Rickey. And I also think you hit the nail here when you said most of the people, they struggle either with the happiness part or something pertaining to their body. And I think it's important here to remind that most of our challenges are evolving around health, wealth, and relationships.
That's it.
Usually our problems can fit into one of those categories. And I think what's powerful about the way you work with clients, that you teach them holistic transformation, because you don't just tackle into mind or only body, but you actually look at the holistic approach. And I think that's why, you took the ABC's philosophy, and now, I think that's why the waterfall that you mentioned.
Yes, honestly, that's one thing I love about the school is like, man, you guys helped me to allocate not only my thoughts, but my career. It was like, I didn't know which way to, I put it this way. I was doing everything, but it was kind of like, scatterbrained all over the place. And it was kind of like, hey, okay, look, you're good at doing these things. So just implement it here, put it right here, and go 100% in that direction. And that's what really helped me out more than anything else. It's like, don't be saying, oh, I can do this, do that. It's like, take this, ABCs, use these tools, do that. You know what I mean? And so that's what really took me to a place where I can comfortably say, what's my ideal client? And I appreciate that.
No, Rickey, I'm happy you brought this up, because this is actually related to one point. In the program, you have component 3, which is mostly overlooked component in the beginning, and that component is reflection, right? You got to do 20 hours of reflection. And, most of the students in the beginning, they're like, why I got to do like 20 hours of reflection? Like, why is this a part of the program? And in the exam, everybody says, oh my God, the most powerful was reflection, because I had to force myself to sit and write, and only through that writing I was able to see things I was not able to see before. And I think what you're explaining right now, the clarity that you gained, also was happening during those hours where you had to force yourself to sit and write for those 20 hours.
That is 100% correct, because I even went through my moments of like, okay, how do I sit and reflect? It's like, well, you kind of technically are already doing it. And what I would do is after each session, like, and I made it a point to do this too. And this was the difference between our school. I'm saying our school and all the other schools. I know our school. There was nobody holding you accountable. Nobody saying that, it didn't take it serious, because Jay was like, yo, make sure you do the after every section. He was like, make sure you do the reflection before you. I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to actually do it. So the reflection part was when you really like you find yourself, because you have to be faced with yourself and figure out what did you learn in that particular lesson. And if you didn't learn anything in a lesson, it's like, go back and do it. So I would spend a lot of time. And everybody learns differently, and I learned my way of learning is I have to dissect one thing at a time. I can't do too much. So it was like in my reflection was like, pick one thing, hone in on it, and then don't stop until you gather something and learn something from it. So that was the best part of it as well.
Thank you, Ricky. I'm so happy it worked for you too. And here is the next question from Tracy. Tracy is asking, when you decided to reprogram your mind, how did you handle weeding out toxic close friends and family members?
I'm laughing at that part. Oh, thank you so much, Keisha. That's Keisha. She's another awesome coach from my hometown, Port Arthur. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm laughing at that part is because I've learned to intentionally. I'm gonna do two ways of explaining this: is not caring what anybody says about me, okay, and then also being so goal oriented that the higher I got, certain people just fell off, okay. Because we have this I don't know what it is, and I'm pretty sure I can explain it better another time. But we have this weird attachment to family, and this emotional attachment to family, this emotional attachment to friends, which typically only come from this obligation. Oh, we're family. Oh, we're related. Oh, we're blood. So you have to do this particular thing. And I'm like, we call this game in school a long time ago. I call BS. Okay. I'm like, you don't have to be obligated to anybody when it's your life. This is your life. You pick and choose how you want to live. And if people aren't, pretty much, I like to say this: if you make people adjust to you instead of you adjusting to people, okay? If you get people to adjust to you, there's no expectations. Like when I come around, like the people know that, hey, it's Ricky's time for his bodybuilding competition, and they know I'm on a strict diet. I'm not eating anything. I can go to a family buffet of food, and I'll sit right there with my black coffee and not eat a thing. And before, it used to be like, "You're not eating this? What you mean you're not eating this?" Like, oh. I'm like, no, this is what I'm doing now. And in the beginning, there was a lot of temptation, and even people saying things like, "Oh, you think you're better than us?" It's like, I don't think I'm better than you. I'm just trying to make myself better. Okay, and that's the hardest place for us to be with our families, because they want to relate to you because we're related, all right, and they can't relate to you if you're not doing the same thing. So be okay with saying, yo, I need to live my life for myself. I have to be happy for myself. And if you're not doing anything to promote my happiness, to make me feel better, not understanding what's going on in my head, then I have to establish my relationship with you. Here's the answer to your question a lot more directly. I establish my relationship with every single person in my life. There's only so much I can talk to my mom about. There's only so much I can talk to my dad about. There's only so much I can talk to my sisters about. So my circle of friends are very, very small. My circle of friends are people who are into fitness, who are life coaches, which is why Keisha's here right now, who only promote happiness. Those are my circle of friends, and those are people I can relate to better for where I'm trying to go in life. And then when I deal with my family and friends, we can just come and talk about, hey, what's going on in y'all life? We don't have to talk about my fitness career. We don't have to talk about coaching. We don't have to talk about motivation. We don't have to talk about none of that stuff. Why? Because that's not what you do. And that's okay. Be A-okay with being comfortable with yourself, by yourself, for yourself, and then learn to establish certain type of relationships with other people.
Ricky, I must say that when I'm listening to you today and remembering, the exam, which was literally 1 month ago or five weeks ago, I can see, how far you've gone even from that point. And I just again want to acknowledge that, because your answers today are wise. They are not just on point, they are not only helpful, they are wise, and it comes from experience. I think the amount of time that you spent dealing with people already, and talking to people immediately, it shows off right now in the way you are providing answers. I personally find them very, very powerful today. And next question is going to be from Alina, because I also want to know the answer to this question. What people to remember you for?
That's an amazing thing. I want literally. I ask myself this question every single time. I ask myself that question before every coaching session, because I don't want it to be about me. I don't want it to, it's not about me at all. Because as soon as you start, becoming more selfish, you get self in doubt, and then you start feeling like it's all you, and then you literally start faking yourself in a session, and then you start sounding like every other coach, and then you start being very, very typical and almost predictable at some point in time. So it's like, yo, take yourself away from self and be here for your client, be here for the person that's in front of you. So honestly, my immediate answer is I only want you to remember yourself. That's it. Okay. You can use me however you want to use me to get any information you want. I just want you to remember yourself. Remember yourself in our session. How do you feel like when you're done? Don't think about, you could say our interaction was awesome. Remember yourself. That's it. I just want to remember you. Don't worry about me. Remember you.
So powerful. I literally feel emotional listening to this answer, because Ricky, this is so selfless, and this is so ego free, and this is so about service, and this is exactly what the certification school is about, and that's why I'm so proud you get to be our graduate. Now, Ricky, as we are heading towards the end, I would like you to tell our audience about how they can get in touch with you. What is the process of working with you as a coach, if some people from our audience are looking for one, and again, who should contact you and how?
Absolutely. Well, the thing of it is this up here. Okay, RPGM. Or you can just Google my name, Rickey Getwood Jr. But RPGM is literally all about reprogramming your mindset. Funny story behind that is, I want to somebody else asked that question earlier. So the RPGM, it started off as Ricky Paul Getwood Motivates, because people knew me as a motivational speaker. But I started talking more about reprogramming your mindset over and over and over, not realizing that the RPGM is also in reprogram. Okay, so when you look up the word reprogram or RPGM, it'll pop up either Rickey Getwood or RPGM on Instagram, Facebook, obviously, and on my website, which is rpgm.us, which is reprogram us.
Cool. And also, people can find you on our website if they don't catch the spelling. That's www.jshettycoaching.com. Just click on find a coach, and Ricky's profile is right there, number 4. You can contact him always directly. If you are looking for a coach that is going to help you adopt growth mindset, a coach who is going to help you find balance between your mind, body, and soul, I would definitely go to Ricky, because I think today was another proof that he is the person who definitely can take their clients from point A to point B, not only take them through the journey, but as you said, now it's your turn to hold hands of people while they go through the journey. And we will always back you up. And this is definitely not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter of your journey with the GHD Certification School now as an alumni.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you can't let my hand go. Don't let me go. You can't let my hand go just yet.
We won't, Ricky. We definitely won't. I thank you for your time today, Ricky, and I am sure that you're going to you are already under a waterfall, but I'm sure the waterfall is going just to become stronger, after today. And so I hope this is not the last time we are doing this. And I would like to thank you for your service to your clients. And I would like to thank you for being so authentic, so open, and so vulnerable today, as always.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you may understand, and I just want to make sure that we stay in touch forever, and I'm pretty sure we will. And I can honestly say on camera that I genuinely love you as a person. I think you're an amazing, wonderful woman, and all the things you have going on as well.
Thank you so much, Rickey. I'm going to put the broadcast off. Otherwise, I feel there will be tears. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for spending this hour with us. Don't forget, you can always find Rickey on our website or on his website. We have posted the links in the comments, so it's easier for you. Stay tuned for the next Monday when we are coming with our next live coaching clinic episode. You have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day, Rickey. Goodbye.
Bye, you guys.